Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the class of Bhagavad Gita as it is. We continue from the 39th text of the second chapter called Contents of the Gita Summarized. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This text goes like that. Eshete Vita Sankhya Puti Yoge Tvimam Shrinu Utya Yukto Yaya Bharta Karma Bantam Prahasyasi. Thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. Asanuprita, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. Yes. In the first part or portion of the second chapter, Krishna was talking in terms of Sankhya Yoga, analytical study of the body and the mind, and body and the soul, basically. Yes, and why should Arjuna fight? He brings basically philosophical arguments why he should do that. Now he starts talking about. This part is called Sankhya Yoga, as I told you. Sankhya, there are two kinds of Sankhya. We are interested in Devahuti Putra Kapila Sankhya, which means that Sankhya propounded by the incarnation of Krishna, the son of Devahuti, Lord Kapila. This Sankhya is explained in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is non-different from devotional service, because the goal, the aim of Sankhya, his Sankhya, is to bring you to worshipping Vishnu or Krishna. So there is another Sankhya philosophy called atheistic Sankhya, propounded by another Kapila, who was an impostor. He was not incarnation of God. He was an atheist. That's why we always differentiate. When we talk about real Sankhya, we always talk propounded by Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti. Yes. Anyway, now Krishna starts talking about something called Buddhi Yoga. He says in this shloka, Buddhi Yoga Tvimam Shrinu. Imam means this, Shrinu means listen to me. And I can tell you about Buddhi Yoga. Yoga means connection. Yoga means controlling the senses. And Buddhi means acting by intelligence. Buddhi is intelligence, isn't it? In other words, it is all about how to act properly without, when you act properly, you have to make sure that you don't incur, you don't get any reaction to your work, you don't entangle yourself in the work. This is like minimum requirement. And then whatever you do is bringing you to liberation. So these two things, you should not get any bad results, and you should only get the highest results. This is, acting by intelligence, Buddhi Yoga. Yes, this is how Krishna now starts talking about what he talks to Arjuna. Text 40. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and with little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. When I and my friends, when we read Bhagavad Gita first time, so there are a few verses, many maybe, and some of them especially made some great impression on us. This is one of those verses, because Krishna here says that whatever you do here, you don't lose anything. You will not lose anything, and you will only gain. So this is a very special type of work. if you are sure about getting only the good results. So this is, you cannot say things like that about any type of material activity. It's like win-win situation. You always win. When you engage yourself in bhakti yoga or buddhi yoga, you will always win. So it's very, very rare thing in this world to always get the benefit from our action. So, and besides just getting some good, good reactions, you will be protected of the most dangerous type of fear. The greatest danger will be you will be um, protected from. And Srila Prabhupada explains that the greatest um, danger is to get some, don't get the material, don't get the human body. So, in other words, if you get some lower species, be born in the lower species, like the animals or birds or even plants. So you have to really, really, really wait a very long time to get the opportunity to elevate yourself again. It's why human life, we have just no idea, no understanding, but it's very rare. It's very important to properly utilize this type of body, because as an animal, you can you have no choice. You have to just go on according to the laws of nature, and you have not you won't be able to make any conscious choice. So you have to just follow your instincts. But in human body, you can you are at the crossroad. You can decide yourself what to do, and you can ask yourself many important questions. As an animal, you cannot do that. So yes. We go to next verse, 41. This is another very important verse. Now Krishna explains how determined one should be, even though it's, there is a even small endeavor on this path can protect you from the greatest fear. This is not enough. You should do more. Do more. Yeah, sorry. Vyabhasayatmika buddhir egeha gurunandana bahushakhatmana hayanantascha buddhayo vyavasayanam. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligent those who are irresolute is many branched. So this is actually Srila Prabhupada would tell us that this was one of the most important verses because it tells you that you should take up the mission of the Guru as your life and soul. And this is what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, one of the greatest acharyas, how he comments this verse. That you have to be resolute. You have the only one direction, thinking about on one thing, how to serve your spiritual master. You cannot serve Krishna directly. We cannot do that. We have to serve Krishna's representative. It's not possible to approach Krishna directly. We have to approach his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. That's why we sing in the morning, Yasya Prasada, Bhagavad Prasado, Yasya Prasada, Nagati Kutopi. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, you cannot get the mercy of Krishna. If you satisfy spiritual master, you are satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And without satisfying the spiritual master, you cannot satisfy Krishna. So that's why one has to meditate on the spiritual master 3 times a day. Santhya means, when different parts of the day, they meet, just like in the morning, when the sun rises, so the night and day. Yes, then at noon, in the middle of the day, and in the evening. This is another Santya, when evening and night they cross. So this time, these 3 times we chant Gayatri Mantra. So this is the point. So you meditate. You don't meditate only. I mean, these 3 moments during the day, but so this is kind of symbolic thing that we meditate 3 times a day and beg for the mercy. Yes, this is a very important thing. Yes, we should remember that. If you are not determined, if you are not resolute, then our mind is like many branched, small branches, and always unconcentrated. Now he talks about the Vedic scriptures in general, Krishna. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Yes, so Vedic knowledge in general is very flowery. It's just like it describes you the heavenly planets, how nice it is there, and so on. And you, as many people, they want to go there because it's almost like eternal life. It's not eternal, but it seems like. And people want to have power, good birth, beauty, and so on and so forth. And they think that this is this kind of sense gratification. This is much higher than what you can get on this Earth planet. So this is like the highest achievement. I think many Muslim people, they also think like that. They think that they have to go to some kind of heaven, up to higher planets, and they think that they even are ready to kill somebody else just to go there, blow themselves up, and so on. This is a very wrong understanding, of course, absolutely. Anyway, this is not what Quran teaches actually, but yes, many people think like that. Why are they thinking like this? Because in the minds of those who are too attached to sense gratification, sense enjoyment, and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord doesn't take place. If you are not resolute if you are attached to sense gratification, there is no way you can start in fixed devotional service to the Supreme Lord, because you'll be distracted all the time. This is our biggest problem. We are attached to sense gratification. We think this should be the goal of my life. So, the Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the 3 modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these 3 modes, be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. So Vedas deal mainly with the 3 modes of nature. Yes, how to gain something, how to get something, just like business deals. How to be a pious person and be very successful in life. So, but he advises to Arjuna to be transcendental to these 3 modes, because at that time the Vedas were the source of action. I mean, everybody would refer to Vedas those times when people were pious, so they would use Vedas for in anything in life. So Vedas were teaching them basically everything, but this was the main source of knowledge, the only source maybe. So that's why it was dealing with mainly with the 3 modes of nature, because most of the people are under the influence of the modes. So that's why Krishna tells Arjuna, now forget all these parts of the Vedas which are dealing with the 3 modes, and rise above the duality anxiety and distress and anxiety for gain and safety, because everyone wants to be safe and gain as much as possible. This is the, everybody, yeah, this is the main goal. So Krishna tells, rise above this and be establishing the self. Yes, another very interesting verse. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. In other words, everything you can achieve by the Vedas will be achieved if you are self-realized, because you achieve much more than Vedas can give you. So just like if you have a great reservoir of water, if you have $1 million, you don't need to have like 10, 20, 100, and so on. So you have everything. So the example here is a big reservoir of water and small well. So if you have a big reservoir of water, so you don't need to have a small well. So you have a right to, now he talks about the action. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So you have a prescribed duty. Everybody has a prescribed duty, especially in the Vedic time. So you have to do it. You have to perform this duty. But you shouldn't. But you are doing your duty. But the result is not yours anyway. So it's like if you are employed by an employer. So employer will give you some salary, but even if you achieve some kind of very outstanding result, this result will not be yours. It will be your employer's. You will get the salary or maybe a bonus, but the result, the fruit of action is not yours. You are not entitled. You have to do your duty because it's your work, it's your job. And yes. Perform your duty equiposed, Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Yes. So, I mean, if I don't get some result, how to live, if I'm not successful in this endeavor, I don't want to do it. This is not the point. This is not the way you should act. You should act anyway. You should act as you are obliged to. But Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service. And in that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. Yeah, it's self-explanatory, I would say. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions, even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. So if you are engaged in devotional service, even in this life, you don't get the good or bad reactions of your work. So what does it mean? Anything we do, we get some reaction for it. And whether it's good or bad, ultimately everything is bad because they will they will oblige you to be born. One person owes me money. I gave him money. He never returned it back. So I actually excuse him. I don't want him to return me this money. I don't want to be born just because he has to give me money back. I just don't want that. I don't know how that's how I think at least. So if you don't want to get involved in these karmic things, so you should only be engaged in devotional service. There are many philosophies, many schools teaching you like how to clean your karma, how to get rid of different things, how to go into the akashic records and so on, which is maybe nice. I'm sure they know what they're talking about, but without devotional service, you cannot be freed from all karmic reactions because you don't even know what they are. You may go to your karmic Akasha records and realize, okay, these things have to be purified, cleaned from my book, karmic book, but how you cannot be sure you know all these things. You may miss so many reactions which are there because it's such an intricate thing, such a complicated subject. So better to surrender to Krishna and always be engaged in his devotional service. And we are clean of our karma. And we don't incur new karma. We don't accumulate new karma. Any questions or comments so far? No.
Question, if it's possible.
Yeah, if there's nothing, I'm just always asking to give
No,
you.
I have a question. If
You do.
allowed.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Yes, please ask. Yes.
So my question is that sometimes we work and we get the results, right? But sometimes we work in a devotional way. I mean, serving in the temple, distributing,
Yes.
and so on.
Yeah.
So but still, we actually have some, karmic work. So is it by devotional service, we should get to the point where we stop all the karmic work, or is it possible that, for example, only once I did devotional service or something devotional, and then my life is saved in terms of, I get another opportunity or something like this, better, of course.
Well, we should never be satisfied just doing devotional service sometimes and a few times. We should, of course, we cannot just become pure devotees at once. So, but the meaning of this verse, which we read in the beginning, is that even a small amount of endeavor will protect you. So what to talk about, if you are totally engaged. And we cannot just start be totally engaged in devotional service. We have to gradually develop and gradually. And I don't know what you mean by karmic work. You should think that we have to work to maintain our body and soul together, to maintain our families. This is not contradictory to devotional service. This is not that you shouldn't think that now you are serving your family or whatever. So you have to do it because who else will maintain them? So you have to go to work, you have to earn money, you have to do all these practical things. But just remember Krishna while doing this, and be Krishna minded. So we should not stop. All these so-called material activities either, because we have to work for practical reasons too. So, but at one point, that's yeah. At one point, we will be fine. We will be fine. I mean, we have to just chant Hare Krishna, do all these things, but at the same time, be practical too. I don't know if that's what you asked.
Yeah, yes, that's what I asked. So I'm also asking that the point of liberation. Liberation means going back to Krishna.
Yeah.
That's only possible when you are completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, not even a slightest.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
That's very interesting for me, and how to say, very nice point. and
Yeah,
also some how to say hard thing to achieve.
of course. Of course, we have to. Yeah, at one point. So, well, what shall I say? If normally you have to become perfect in this life to go back to Godhead, you have to develop your rasa with Krishna and so on. There are different ways. If you cannot do that, but you are close to it, then you will be born next time somewhere where Krishna performs his lila, then you can become perfect like that. So if you have some slight material desires, so Krishna may bring you back, on the way home. He can bring you to heavenly planets. You can maybe have a little stop there, fulfill your desire, then you can go home afterwards. So there are different things. And if you are very sincere, but you still cannot concentrate in your mind, sometimes Lord Chaitanya can, it's up to him. By his mercy, he can enter your mind and purify your mind in the time of death so you can think about him. So, but we have to develop some real taste for Krishna consciousness. So, and this taste for material, consciousness. So, it's not just like I'm formally performing all these things. You have to get the realization as well. You have to wake up as as a soul, as a Krishna's eternal servant. You have to change your identity, change your identification from the body to your real identification. And the more you succeed, so the more guaranteed you are to go home back to Godhead. So we cannot just like Christians say, okay, you know what, Jesus Christ will save me. I do all kinds of nonsense, but I pray, I do the cross, whatever. So, but I do the nonsense anyway because I'm weak. I'm a sinner, so I'll be saved anyway. This is not the way it works. You should become detached from material activities. It's not just a belief that somebody will say to you while you are still doing nonsense. So should not be. You should become purified. Text 51. What time is it now? Okay. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycles of birth and death, attain a state beyond all miseries, going back to Godhead. Yes. So devotional service again, and in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada quotes Bhagavatam, the same verse which I actually spoke a couple of times last time during the last classes, and how the huge material ocean becomes a little water contained in the hoof print of the calf, and how easily you can cross it. So by engaging in devotional service, huge ocean of material existence becomes small one, and we can cross it. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. Yeah. So when intelligence is out of the dense forest of delusion, when we are not deluded, we are not bewildered anymore. So we don't want to hear anything about anything else than devotional service. So that's the idea. We just lose the taste to it. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. Again, Krishna talks about Vedas. Nowadays, nobody cares about Vedas, but I mean, it means that, like material sources of information, whatever, when you are not disturbed by that. For example, you read something, I don't know, social media or a paper or something, where it says, that, oh, you can get so much money by investing money in this, in that, in whatever. You become very much, agitated. Oh, so nice. Oh, so wonderful. Why I would like to have this same thing. So nowadays it's like that. But in old days it was like flower language of the Vedas. When you don't care about all those things and you have attained divine consciousness, um, intelligence, buddhi, yes, Prabhupada translates it as divine consciousness. Now, Arjuna asks a question. First time since Krishna started teaching, Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak, and what is his language? How does he sit, and how does he walk?" The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness." So all the varieties of, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Oh, I enjoyed it. These are these are all products of mental concoction. You think they are real, so we concoct, we construct different structures of sense gratification. But when you give up this desire for sense gratification, so then you are in pure transcendental consciousness. And when you find satisfaction in the self alone, in other words, you don't want to get satisfaction from outside. You are just satisfied. This is very, very special condition. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and one who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. So when you are in the divine consciousness, you won't be disturbed by miseries. I lost money. I've been fired from my work. I don't know, whatever. Or I'm so happy because now I have success in this and that. So when you just take it easy and you just very much equiposed in these different things, and you are free from attachment, fear, and anger. Yes. Yeah. So you are a sage of a steady mind. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, it is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Yes, again, this he just explains it from different points of view. So when you are just fixed and you are not disturbed by these dualities, so you are perfect knowledge. So this is the answer of Krishna to Arjuna's question: how to recognize one who is in divine consciousness, one who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as a tortoise draws its limbs within the shell. He is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. And again, when senses are under the control, then you can, whenever you need to interact with the outside world, you bring the senses out, just like the limbs of tortoise from the shell, or bring it in when you don't want to be agitated. So you have to work in this world. So that's why senses should go out sometimes, but they are under control. You can bring them in. So it's not like, oh, something is going, and you just you're lost with this object which it just passed your vision. Yeah, it's nice. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. So you can imitate being a yogi, but you may have the taste of it in your mind. That's why you will be disturbed. But only way to overcome this um taste for sense enjoyment is by getting higher taste. Well, there's a cookbook called Higher Taste, Vaishnava cookbook by Adiraj. Adiraj's cookbook is called Higher Taste. It means that, you get the taste of prasadam, Krishna prasadam, so that you lose the taste of bhoga, some food not offered to Krishna. When you eat food not offered to Krishna, you feel immediately it doesn't taste at all. Well, it's totally different. It's material. Krishna prasadam is something very special. It's higher taste. The senses are so strong, and why we have to control the senses? Because the senses are so strong and impetuous, Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination, who is endeavoring to control them. So we should be very, very careful. We should be very sincere about controlling the senses. We should never play with the fire. You may be very proud being a strong man. Oh, I can play with fire. No, no, no. Even if you are very, very strong and very advanced, you should never play with the sense object. So, because it's always danger, you may be carried away by that. And Srila Prabhupada quotes the story of Vishwamitra, how Vishwamitra was a perfect yogi, but he was um, attracted by Shakuntala. Menaka, sorry, Shakuntala was born. Um, while, Yamunacharya, for example, he quotes this, Yamunacharya has this wonderful verse that, because he experiences so much bliss in serving Krishna, that when he thinks about intimate relationship with a woman, if this thought comes into his mind, it becomes distasteful, really, and yeah, it's not what shall I say? It's not hatred of women. No, not at all. Women are our mothers, sisters, and daughters, and so on. No, no, it just it's this kind of thing. It's not necessary for such a person. And Durvasa Muni was a great yogi, but Ambarish Maharaj, because he engaged his mind and his senses in the service of Krishna, he conquered Durvasa Muni, the really, really great yogi. Yes. So, never play with senses, the sense objects. Even if you are a Paramahamsa, they are very careful too. They're most careful. Um, one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. Yes. And again, Srila Prabhupada quotes these three wonderful verses describing the activities of Ambarish Maharaj, how he concentrated his mind, first of all, on Krishna's lotus feet, and how he engaged different senses in the service of Krishna. Yes, why should we be careful about senses? What's the problem? What can happen? Yes, while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment to them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. So if you contemplate too much the senses, sense objects, you become attached to them, and you become attached to them. You want to enjoy them, and then from this lust you will, because of that, you will become angry. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. This is, these two verses describe how we fall down. So you become deluded because of anger, and from delusion, you lose the memory, don't remember anymore who you are. You think you are this body and this and that, and then you lose your intelligence. When intelligence is lost, then you fall into the material pool. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. See, he talks about attachment and aversion. You know what is aversion? This is like hatred. Or attachment is, the aversion is opposite to it. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta often uses aversion to the Lord. In other words, you are averse, you are against. I mean, I don't want Krishna, I don't want Hari, I don't want the Lord. So it's actually attachment aversion is basically the same thing. If you, in brahmacharis who are just, no, really, I hate women. So they are very much attached, by the way. So it won't help them. Attachment and aversion, these are actually two different ends of the same thing. But instead of just, you have to, Prabhupada says, controlling the senses through regulative principles of freedom. Four regulative principles, just wonderful ones. They are principles of freedom because you can get free from the material world. So you have to control the senses by that. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. So if you are in Krishna consciousness, you don't feel the miseries of life. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? So, peace is, very important. Any questions so far? Because it's a quite heavy philosophy. All right. We cannot follow all these things. I mean, just so much knowledge is given in those verses. It's just unbelievable. We can, you know, if you develop the taste to these shlokas, then you can just think about each verse for days and days. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses of which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Yes. So, if there's a strong wind in the water, on the sea or something, and there is a boat, this wind can carry it away. So we shouldn't allow any of the senses to be attached to any objects. Yes. Otherwise, we will be carried away. Our intelligence will be carried away. Therefore, mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. Yes, that's the idea. Remember how Srila Rupa Goswami starts Upadishamrita. Vacho Vegam, Manaso, Krota Vegam, and so on. He describes one who can control the mind, the intelligence, the anger, and different senses. He can have disciples all over the world. In other words, he is the man of steady intelligence. He who can control. one who is the master of the senses, is Goswami. So Prabhupada then starts quoting, his purport by talking about Goswamis. Goswamis are those who control their senses, opposite to Godasas, those who are the servants of the senses. So, this should be our goal. We should, what shall I say? Just like I'm sure in Georgia, all the young boys they want to be football player like Kvaratskhelia maybe or something, or Messi or something. I mean, they're heroes. Our heroes should be those who are able to control their senses. We should actually follow their examples. I mean, great acharyas. This is such a great achievement. It's like you have a huge ocean and you don't need small wells. So if you have this ability to control the senses, then you have everything. Then you can have the whole world. I think in Bible it says something like one who conquers the big countries is not the conqueror. One who conquers oneself, one's own self, is the real one. There is a story. There is a. I'm sure Palindi knows this. Something called The Doctor and His Wife by Ernest Hemingway, where the wife is very religious and doctor is like, he just a little bit unhappy with his wife, with his family, with his life. And then he's always kind of a little bit unsatisfied, angry. And wife always tells him, well, one who conquers the lands is not a conqueror, is not he one who conquers one's own self. He's the real conqueror. So you have to be in charge of your senses. Then you will have everything in this world. Now, wonderful verse. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. And the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. So this is the difference between devotees and materialists. We have different views, totally different views, opposite to each other. What is night for us is day for them, and vice versa. The person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Doesn't mean that one who controls his senses has no desires at all. He can just control them. When he sees something beautiful or smells something beautiful, whatever, I don't know, something nice, he knows it's nice, it's beautiful, it's good for the senses, but he very easily can evaporate this thing. I mean, it just go away. So he can control this. He knows some beautiful woman comes and he can fix it. He can see it, but he doesn't attach. God doesn't get attached to her at all, or anything. I mean, money or other things, enjoyable things. Why? Because he thinks that all these things have no value. So that's why he controls them, and that's why he has peace. And only he can have peace, not 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 others. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. See, so many verses talk about peace, shanti, because this is important thing. Peace means you are satisfied. You don't want anything else. So how can you control yourself if you always want something? Yes. And the last sloka in this chapter, Esha Brahmistiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati Sti Tvasyam Antakalapi Brahmanirvanam Vichati. That is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. This is the way of spiritual and godly life, after attaining which man is not bewildered. So we have to attain this stage, because then we can, at the hour of death, we can enter the kingdom of God. So we have to attain this state. If we don't attain, if we think about something else, so I'm not sure we can attain the kingdom of God. So we probably will be. But I think those who chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds and even more, maybe, for the rest of their lives and follow the principles, they are already quite fixed. So it's not by chance they chant, because they have taste, they have realized, they have transcended. So I'm sure they can have realization. So and they can go back home to God. Thank you very, very much. So I will end here, and thus ends second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Yes. Any questions? Any comments?
Prabhu, can I ask?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so Krishna asked Arjuna to follow his prescribed duty.
Yeah.
So, what as a devotee or a servant of Krishna, like what should we prioritize? Like when should we prioritize our worldly duties, and when should we prioritize our devotional services?
Yes. Yes. We should just try to fill our life. We should not give up anything. Let me say like that. We should just continue wherever you are. Just like you are a student, you should continue, because you need a profession. You need that. You need to have some good foundation into your life. This is not all, but I mean, it's really good to have it. So that's why you should go to university and study whatever. You have to have family and maintain and do your duties as nice as possible. So we should not disregard these things. We should not think they are material. They're part of our lives. And simultaneously, we should listen as much as possible to Krishna from pure devotees. We should chant Hare Krishna. We should try to do service to Krishna and so on. We don't have to, all of us, live in the temple and give up everything. And it's not for everyone. It's not necessary. So it's I don't know. We have to follow our duties. We have to, we have to keep our families satisfied. Whatever. It's not the only thing we have to do, of course. But I mean, in a reasonable way, we have to. Well, you see, I think we always think about saving others, but we should save ourselves first. So that's why we need to take care of ourselves, our families, and then we can help others. Maybe we can help, maybe we cannot. Maybe we can help one or two, maybe we can help 10 people, maybe we can help hundreds of people. I don't know. It depends. But we should be able to save ourselves first. Save yourself first. This is the first duty. So that's why you need some, Bhaktivinoda Thakur would say that, everybody should have like ritual activities, like because related to maintenance of the body, plus devotional activities. Yeah. So he would not say that everybody should just give up everything and just live in the temple. No. Does it help?
Thank you so much.
May I
Hare Krishna.
also add something in here?
Yeah, sure,
if I
please.
may, yeah. So probably we should try to, clean our thinking from duality, in a sense that this that I'm doing, like I'm going to the temple, praying to the deities, or serving at the temple, that is devotional service. And outside of a temple, whatever I'm doing, this is mundane work. That is exactly the duality of our life. We should be able to act, to serve Krishna, to have devotional service in everyday life. It does not mean that the devotional service can be done only at the temple or only by, doing seva to some elevated devotee. No, well, for a mother taking care of a newborn baby, it's also a devotional service, because without a devotion to her kid, she cannot ever take care of him or her. Yeah, because if she does not love, if there's no love for a baby, it will be a turmoil. It will be so difficult to take care of a child. And the thing that we have different professions or different interests in the life, it also comes out of our personal, it's how to say it. We all have some preferences, like we naturally are more prone to do, some are very good at, crafting something, working with their hands. Some are very good in merchandising and selling things. Some are very good in administering things. Some are very good in philosophizing. And that comes naturally. You don't have to put much effort in it. So, and if you take that propensities and use them in your life the way that it leads you to the overall goal of your life, which is serving Krishna, then that's also a devotional service. So, as a doctor, you can be, sorry, if I'm for bringing that, particular example, but that shows it very well how things are done in material world. A doctor, uh, first of all, you cannot become a doctor if you don't have your heart in it, yeah, because it's a very difficult job. You should dedicate a lot of time, even the family time, to being a doctor, to taking care of patients. But but there's also another type of people who get education as a doctor just because being a doctor brings a good money. Yeah, so that's the main difference. If you in your profession can serve the humankind, can serve, can improve something for the humankind within the principles that are given to us by the scriptures, then it's also a devotional service. It can be improved, it can be purified. You can getting by chanting the mantra and getting association thus with the holy name can improve your consciousness and purify more your consciousness. But even in your daily life, you are serving, irrespective whether you are Krishna conscious or not. This daily life can be made Krishna conscious, because everything that is you are doing are given by Krishna to you as to you or to us, to everyone. He provides everything. So we should remember that always and be grateful for that. And whatever he is trying to satisfy our desires, our interests in profession comes from our desire. Yeah. So he's satisfying our desire. And if we pay him back by being a diligent worker, working for the humanity, not for me, myself, and my family, then that's also part of the devotional service. That's exactly what Krishna tells Arjuna. Arjuna, as a warrior, he should fight and should fight for Krishna, because Krishna is the ultimate goal of everything. He should not fight as Duryodhana, who was also a warrior. Yeah, because Duryodhana was fighting only to satisfy his personal interests, his greed for power, his greed for fame and money and good life. Arjuna never thought that way. He was completely different attitude towards life. So we need to purify our mind in that direction. Yeah, we should not think that, oh, this is I'm doing for Krishna, and that I think I'm doing for myself. This is when we get dissatisfied, and that's when we lose Krishna consciousness, touch with the Krishna consciousness. Sorry for interruption, but I think this enters everybody's mind. Where is this division? Yeah, where is when I'm acting a Krishna conscious person and when I'm not acting as Krishna conscious person? And the answer is always within us. What do I really think? What I am doing at the moment, and what purpose I am doing it for? That's I think the best way to control your thinking in that way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mataji. It was much needed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nandapriya Prabhu. It is pleasure always to hear from you. And thanks to Kalindi Mataji and Tisha also. Until next Tuesday.
Thursday.
No. Thursday.
Thursday. Yes.
Yeah.
And Kalindi will talk about third chapter.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare
Haribol.
Krishna.
Haribo,
Hare-
thank you very much. Nandapriya Prabhu, Kalinda Mataji,
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai.